Bodhi.
How are you?
Hope you have had a good relax yesterday.
Well, very good, relax, but still not the best. But I believe I can do it today. So I'll go pretty slowly with the five aggregates. No, I don't like that term aggregates, the five elements of a thought.
Okay, five elements of thought. Okay, I won't.
Because these English terms, pretty hard to give English terms to Magadi. I'm trying
Yeah.
my best. There are no one particular term for each part of the Magadi, sounds. In English,
Mm.
we have to give a long explanation for one word or one sound. For example, when we say karma, karma is not, you know, not just, greed. Because in many books they say greed is karma, which is not right. It is not right because it doesn't go with the cause and effect process of kama, tanna, rati, raga. So that has to go along that path, cause and effect. So I'm just pointing out one situation. All right, so don't worry about that. We'll go to the page number 13. Yeah, that's the place.
Yeah, is it?
Panchapadana skandha dukkha. That is the first, uh,
Punch.
first. I don't know
Apodana.
whether you have heard about that. Pancha Upadana Skandha Dukkha. That means it's not written here. If you go to the Four Noble Truths, have you heard about the Four Noble Truths?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, number choose.
There
Yeah.
are four truths given by Buddha. There are four truths. One is the first truth. That one is Pancha Upadana Skandha Dukkha, but it says Sankittena Pancha Upadanaskandha Dukkha. It is not written here. These are just the elements of five elements of a thought. But there, Pancha Upadanaskandha Dukkha is the first noble truth. First noble truth is Pancha Upadanaskandha Dukkha. But it goes more than that. Jatipi dukkha, jarapi dukkha, vyadipi dukkha, maranampi dukkham. Now we have heard about
Dukkha.
these terms in the Paticca Samuppada, the last part. Jati, jara, vyadi, marana, soka, parideva, dukkha, domanas. So that part is coming in the first noble truth. We'll come to that later. Why we are studying this, I'm just trying to tell you. The reason for studying the five elements of a thought is to understand the first noble truth as well. So there's a purpose of studying this. All right, so you have to realize the reason behind this learning. Then only you feel like learning. So
Yes.
I'm just bringing in what's the advantage of learning Pancha Upadana Kanda, or five elements of a thought, or five elements of a chitta. The Buddha's term is chitta, five elements of
Chitta.
a chitta. Chitta is a thought.
Chitta.
Chitta, chitta. It's a chitta,
Chitta.
chitta,
Mm.
chitta.
Chitta.
Yeah, chitta.
Chitta.
So we have to understand this one pretty well, and also we need to remember this pretty well because this is a very important topic. So chitta is the thought. The Buddha's term is chitta. Buddha says chittanupassana in Mahasatipatthana Sutra. Then it says chitchutra. That says chittanupassana. how to concentrate or concentrate on this chitta. Chittanupassana means that. Passana is how to contemplate about the thoughts or chitta. Chitta is a thought. Chitta is a thought. Chittan means lot of chitta. Chitta is one thought. Chitta. All right. Now let us go to this one very slowly. Now, who is making chitta or what is making chitta? The first element is rupa. But when we say rupa, we have to remember one thing here. Now I said is rupa is termed as upadana rupa. So that means this is what I had to explain. Now when you look at the outside world, there are so many things. Houses are there, sorry, people are there, vehicles or cars are there. There are so many things outside. The flowers are there, ponds are there, animals are there. How many things are there outside? So many things. But Buddha is not talking about the pictures of those things. Buddha is not talking about the figures of those things. What Buddha is telling is upadana rupa. So there's a big difference between the picture of something and the upadana rupa is always registering in the mind. It is registering in the mind. Can you understand that?
Yes.
Upadana rupa is, upadana is arising. Upadana is arising a rupa, arising a figure, arising a, some sort of a picture of something outside when you see. So it arises inside our mind, or it arises inside our interior, or it is arises in our mind. So whatever arises in our mind is a upadana rupa. Okay, whatever arises in our mind as a figure is called upadana rupa. So when I see something, when I see a bus going on the road, the there is a rupa for that particular bus. There is a figure. But that is not the one we are talking about. What is registering in my mind when I see that? That is called
Yes.
upadana. What is registering in my mind?
Yeah.
When I see a person, what is registering in my mind as the figure of that person? The figure of that person is registering in my mind. So that's the upadana rupa. If I see a house, outside house, it has got a certain picture, but that is not the picture we are talking about. What is registering in my mind or the interior of that house? So my upadana rupa is different to the entire set of other upadana rupa registered in various people's mind. Not necessarily to be the same one. Not necessarily to be the same one. Because depending on the way I look at it, it registered in my mind. If I say it's a good rupa, good house, so it registered as a good house. If I say it's an average house, it registered as an average house in my mind. Can you understand that?
Yeah.
So there are some additional things also. But generally speaking, the rupa is the same for each and every person, but there are different, parts to be added. Anyway, so
Yeah,
you have
yeah, yeah.
understood Upadana Rupa. Upadana is what is registering or what is arising in my mind.
Yeah. So excuse me, doctor.
Yeah.
Just now do you mean that yeah, Wupa may be the same, but the
Mm.
uh Upadana Wupa is different in yeah, is registered in everybody's mind, right?
Yeah, different to a certain extent because if somebody is attached to something, that
Yeah.
Upadana Rupa registered very strongly.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying. If he is not worried about that, it won't register that strongly. Maybe lightly. It can be erased or throw away at any time easily. So there
Yeah.
are so many factors to consider. That's what I was trying to tell you, because otherwise you think everybody is getting this rupa in the same manner. Not real.
Yeah. In the same manner, actually
Not
not the
same manner.
same.
Not the same. So I was trying
Yeah.
to highlight that is the reason I said different people register differently.
Yes, yes.
Rupa. So if you say to somebody, look at that, that's a nice house. Somebody might say, no, it's not a good house for me. I don't like the color. I don't like this. I don't like that. So you
Yes.
can imagine, or somebody might agree with you. So that person may see in the same manner as you did. But, well, who knows? Different people have different views about various things.
Yes.
So that we have to accept and admire different way of looking at things by different people. So
Yeah.
therefore, Upadana Rupa Buddha gave some sort of examples. I'll give you one example here. Uh, it is like there is a very heavy rain. Say outside there is a very heavy rain. So
Mm.
when the rain comes, the water drops are coming down. Drops of water, millions and billions of water drops are coming down, which we can't see. It is coming very fast. If the rain is fairly high in speed, we have all seen that this is a storm. If there is a storm, the rain is quite heavy and fast.
Yes.
Now, similarly, Buddha said, from the outside world, all these rupa of various things are coming towards our six senses pretty fast, all the
Yes.
time. That's the example Buddha gave. Now, some people accept them, some people don't accept them the way others do. So somebody might say that's a good house and accept that rupa. But remember that that rupa is registered as upadana rupa, not the normal rupa that is, that you can see in a picture. Say somebody has taken a picture with a camera. So that rupa is nothing to do with upadana rupa. What I create in my mind about that particular house as a rupa is called the upadana rupa. What I
Yes.
create. So I have got the creation ability to create a rupa or a figure or a picture the way I wish. That is called upadana. I'm stressing so much because this is so important. Okay? So Buddha says when the water drops hit, then Buddha giving another example. Say there is a reservoir. Reservoir is full of water. Or there is a pond of water. Not a pond.
Reservoir.
Reservoir. It's called a reservoir, where you put a dam to restore the water. Now, Waragamba Dam. Waragamba Dam, where they restore water to distribute to the people through pipelines. So Warragamba Dam is one of the dams in Australia, famous dams. You may have heard about that, you know. So it
Mm.
restore the water. Say when the rain comes onto the surface of that Warragamba Dam water, these water drops hit the surface. When they hit the surface, Buddha says those water drops make froth. Have you heard about the term froth?
Yeah.
Froth,
Frog.
froth, froth.
Frog, yeah.
Yeah, wait, I'll write that down. I think you know what it is. So froth,
Is it?
froth.
Oh, frog. Oh, yes, yes, I know.
Or you can
And
say foam.
with seven colors.
Yeah, so foam,
Form. Yes, yes.
foam or froth. So there, now these things come and make the froth. When you get in a pond, you can see a lot of froth. So in the froth there are so many bubbles.
Yes.
In the
On the
froth you can
surface.
see so many bubbles.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. So Buddha is comparing this upadana rupa as froth in our
Yeah.
mind. That's the example given by Buddha. So it's a
Oh,
froth,
cross. Yes, here it is.
like a froth. I have written there. It's like a
Yeah, yeah.
froth. Yeah, you can see that. Froth or bubbles.
Bubbles.
Bubble is not a froth. Froth bubbles are there in the froth.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, froth is different. Bubbles are different, not the same term. But froth and the foam are the same. The foam and the froth are the same.
Oh,
The bubbles are different. So Buddha compared this by taking that as an example. Buddha gave in Magadhi language to this Upadana Rupa a term. It is called Penapindupama. It is there in this
what is it?
my writing Penapindupama.
Pin.
Wait, I
What is
write
it?
it down. Pena Pindupama. Penapindupama.
Pina. Pin.
Penapindu is froth in
Pina.
Magadhi
Pin.
language. Penapindupama. Full of
Oh,
froth. Full of froth. That is
full of
that is
frost.
the term Penapindupama. Rupa. When you say Penapindupama Rupa, that means Upadana Rupa. As Penapindu, as froth or foam, are registered in our mind. Upadana Rupa, Buddha gave this, compared that as, or illustrated with that particular, some sort of a, not an example, it's some sort of a way of explaining what it is. You see, Penapindupama.
Yes.
So Buddha sees that as a Penapindupama. So when the
Pina.
froth
Pin.
is there, when the froth is there, this is so important. So I'm still talking about the Rupa, but I'm talking about the Upadana Rupa here, not
Mm.
the normal Rupa. Upadana Rupa, what registered or created in our mind,
Yeah.
that Rupa of all the things in the outside world are coming and going, but certain things we catch, certain things we don't catch. For example, if you're going in a car, if you look at outside, how many things you see? You see the trees, the people, you know, you name, everything is there. Buildings are
Yeah.
there. Some people are going in cars, bicycles are going, trailers are going, large vehicles are going. Who knows? In the middle, the medium of the road, there are so many trees sitting there or standing there. So grown trees, big trees, small trees. So you see all these things in a flash. But which one you are going to catch? You're not going to catch everything. You might just look at them. Then you are not attaching to any of these things. They don't come and register at Upadana Supa, because if somebody asks you, when you are traveling, what are the trees you have seen? You don't know. You might say, I don't know. I have seen many trees. Which building you saw? No, I didn't see any, specific one. But you are not concentrating on any particular building as such. So all the buildings are passing away as you go in the car. All right?
Yes.
But you don't accept all these things as your favorites. You may or may not accept something. If you accept something as a very important one, you take that into your system as upadana rupa. And you may talk about that with the other people or friends or your colleagues or your parents or your siblings, whatever. You talk about those things when you meet them. When I was going, say, just imagine you are going to a different country, whatever you have seen, you are not going to absorb everything from what you see. You might see some of the favorite places. You might take photos. You might take those photos and remember the things. So whatever you keep as upadana rupa, Buddha says it is like a froth. Penapindupama rupa. Penapindupama. It's like a froth. What happened to the froth? Normally, it won't last long. It will disappear in no time. Is that right?
Yes.
So froths will disappear in no time. But there are certain things that we are not trying to disappear them. We are going to grab them and keep it in our system. So we are keep those things in our system as very, 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 very very tiny element. That is called a sankitta in Buddha's terms. Sankitta. I'll write it here. Sankitta.
Then what
Sankitta. It's not
San
there. It's not
Peter.
there here. Now see, if I say to you, can you remember the friends that you had in your school? You can remember some of the school friends. You can remember their faces and all that. Not all, some of them, maybe, right?
Yes, I can.
So, but they are registered in your mind as very tiny elements. That's what Buddha
Yes.
says. Sankitta. So they are very small elements.
Oh,
Whenever you wanted to get
Sankit.
that person's, if you hear the name of that person, here comes that rupa. That upadana rupa activates say there's a telephone call coming from some other country, from your school friend. He, he or she might say, I'm so and so. Then you say, ah, I can remember you. Where that came from? Your Sankita, the Rupa which was, registered as a Sankita activates, and it will show you the Upadana Rupa of that person. Can you understand that?
Yes.
So that when you say I'm remembering something, nothing but that Sankita Rupa is activated, Buddha says. So when I say I remember that person, what has happened inside? It's not remembering, it is the activation of the Sankita element which I kept in my mind, registered few years ago, maybe 10 years, 20 years, who knows? Can you understand that?
Yeah.
So
Eh,
Buddha
to make
used,
it more clear, could you repeat the example about the
yeah, example is when the water, when there is a rain, heavy rain, the when the rain is coming pretty fast.
mm,
Now, storm, the rain is coming pretty fast. Downpour, we say downpour, it's coming very, very fast.
downpour? Yeah, downpour. Yes.
Yeah, it's like, similarly, Buddha just gave an example just to elaborate what's going on. It's not exactly the same, but it is just an example for us to understand. So it's like similar to the rupa coming from the outside sources of the world. They are throwing
Mm,
towards our six senses, not only one. It is come to all six senses that we have got.
yes.
As rupa, the sound is as a rupa, the taste as a rupa, the touch as a rupa, to the brain as speed as a rupa.
Mm,
So all the six senses are, you know, activated to get these things because they are
yes.
coming from outside. Don't know which one is coming. Everything is coming. Sounds are coming. When you hear a, ambulance going on the road with that,
Mm,
sound,
ambulance.
ambulance. So you can detect what's going. So how you detect that upadana roop of the ambulance registered in your mind. Although it's a sound, it goes into the system as a upadana rupa of that vehicle or the ambulance. Make sense?
Yes.
So those are so Buddha says no matter what you hear, what you heard, what
Mm,
you see, what you smell, what you taste, what you touch, all are coming as rupa, upadana rupa, and register in our mind as froth, as froth.
mm,
Okay? So it can be eliminated or that froth can be kept. But this example, froth is an example only. You can't go to you can't compare 100%. You can say just to help us to understand what these things are. Okay, so Buddha is
yeah.
giving examples for us to understand, to make it clearer to a layman. To a layman it's hard to understand, so Buddha is giving those things. So that is the rupa, upadana rupa. Then you have to make sure the next one is Upadana Vedana. It is not only Vedana. So that is not written here, but it is written in Mahasatipatthana. So as a beginner, if I say all these things at the beginning, you might think it's too much. So that's why I just said Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana, the way Buddha has said. But Buddha insisted when you are reading these terms, you have to add that adjective upadana, upadana Rupa, upadana Vedana, upadana Sanya, upadana Sankara, upadana Vijnana.
So
Why?
here, Upadana, what does it mean?
Upadana
Uh,
is generate,
fictitious,
it's arising inside.
uh,
Upadana.
uh, rising inside. I can
The
see
real term is born, born inside, born.
born inside.
Yeah, it's upadana is born. Okay? So
Yeah,
born. Upadana. So you have to remember that term. Upadana. Upadana is, produce inside. If something is produced, Buddha says, if something is producing inside, it's a terrible thing, Buddha said. If something is producing inside without taking the things as they are, if you produce something, the trouble comes. Now, see,
yes, yes,
karma,
yes,
we learn karma. Who is producing that? We. Where are we producing that? Inside. Likings and dislikings. So it's a production inside. It's a problem. Kama Tanha, who is producing that? We are producing. Where are we producing that? Inside. Why we are producing that? Because of Kama, we are producing Tanha. So the one trouble produces another trouble. Kama Tanha. Rati. Then we repetitively, then we get warmer, the disturbance in the system. So it's who produced that? We. We mean system. We allow that to happen. Okay, so it goes on. Kama tanna rati raga, you know that. So it's 10 actions are produced by us. So we were talking about production. So six senses are also named as, they are called by Buddha producing agents, producing sources. In English,
yes,
I can say that. What is eyes are doing? If you take the six senses, eyes
mhm,
are producing the upadana rupa by seeing things.
yes,
The nose is producing upadana rupa by smelling things. The
yes,
ears are producing upadana rupa by hearing things, and so on and so forth. So they are producing agents. Their organizations produce things. So Buddha says there are six organizations producing products. What are the products? Upadana Rupa. So Buddha put those things into the picture, perspective, just to remind us they are not just sitting there, they are producing. If they produce something, you are in trouble. That's what Buddha says.
yes,
And that if the ears are going to produce something inside my mind, I'm in trouble. I had to protect that, I had to control that.
So how to
Huh?
the because yeah, after we hear something and
Yeah. Well,
the pattern of hearing is
yeah.
automatically working.
Now we have to stop the production. We have to say to our six senses, you can see anything, you can hear anything, you can smell anything, you can taste anything, you can touch anything, you can
Mm-hmm.
have speech coming here and there in your brain, but don't produce anything for me, please, because then I am in trouble. I have to suffer. So if they produce something, I have to suffer. Who is suffering?
Yes.
The system has to suffer. The system is taking things from the outside in various ways, like sounds, pictures, this, that, and they produce upadana rupa.
Yes.
So everything is converted to upadana rupa. Sound is converted to upadana rupa. The
Yes.
smell
Yes.
is converted to upadana rupa in the interior. See, I'm bringing this over and over again. If you have to establish this particular thinking in your mind, because this is so important, so that you get a better understanding about where the suffering is, because we have to find out the suffering, where it comes from. Then only you will appreciate and admire the way of eliminating the suffering, the method given by the Buddha. First we have to find out where this suffering comes from. So to understand that, the rupa, upadana rupa, not just rupa, upadana rupa has to be understood, comprehended, examined, investigated very well through our system. There's nothing to check other than our system. We have to use our system to understand, accept, admire whatever these teachings. There's no any other way. So we have to practically examine. You have to examine practically. Now you have to say to yourself, what is happening to me? So it's a self-evaluation process. In English, it says self-evaluation process, self-examination process, self-assessment process. So what we have to do is, all these things we have to assess by our system and see whether it's right or wrong. When I see that, what is happening to me, it goes into the mind as a upadana rupa. Then what? What is happening then after that? When it goes in, Buddha says there is some sort of emotional sentiment is going on. It is Vedana is emotional sentiment. So it's really touching the whole system and says, here comes the upadana rupa, somebody has come into your system. Yeah, that feeling, I don't say the feeling because it's not the real term Buddha use. It's some sort of an emotional sentiment is going on. When the upadana rupa comes from any object in the world, sort of sentiment, that is an emotional sentiment, arises. That is called Vedana. That is called Vedana. So I'm putting flavor onto this particular Vedana than what is given in the book. Because it's always discussion is better than writing something. So if I write all these things, you can imagine the 1 hour of writing, this page may be 2, 3 pages, Rupa and the Vedana. They're right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's Vedana is Upadana Vedana. Who is bringing this Upadana Vedana? The Upadana Rupa is giving the Upadana Vedana. Upadana Rupa giving the Upadana Vedana. Can you understand what I said? This we studied earlier. There's nothing different with what we have studied, but I'm just putting some more into that.
Yeah. Yeah. I can notice that.
Emotional, sentimental, and emotional feeling. I have just said that
Yeah.
sentimental and emotional feelings, but I don't like that term feelings. But I just put that one to understand what it is.
Yes.
Pretty
Yes.
hard to get
Yes.
the terms from English language.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Then I
No,
will.
it's a
Yes.
feeling, no, it's an emotional sentiment.
Emotional.
or
Sentiment.
sentimental emotional feeling. I don't know. It's hard to
Yeah.
explain what it is, but we have to figure out what it is by ourselves. So it's touching the system and says, somebody has come into your system. Look at that.
Mm.
Something like that, you know. Some sort of a
Yes.
message is given. Sort of a message. That message is brought by Upadana Rupa. What's the message? Upadana Vedana. So Buddha says that frost, now see, it's full of bubbles. Buddha gives the term to Vedana, Upadana Vedana, is termed as bubbles of that froth. Bubbles of that froth. That's why it is given here, Bubulupama, bubbles, Bubulupama. Vedana is termed as Buddha Bubulupama in Magadhi language. Bubulupama. That is like a bubble in a froth. What happens to the bubble in a froth? It breaks in no time. It's just a bubble. So this is a
Yeah.
fake. Upadana Rupa is a fake, as we said. It's a fictitious thing. Froth is a
Fictitious.
fictitious thing. If you look at that example, after the rain, everything disappears. No froth, no bubbles, all gone. Isn't it? Similarly, these will disappear after doing the damage. What is the damage? The flood is the damage given by the rain. What is the damage given by these things to us? Suffering. These are all
Sorry, what's your question?
the when the rain comes, right?
Mm.
When
Mm.
the rain comes, it brings froth and it bubbles with that and all that. When the rain stops, everything disappears, bubbles and the froth. But what can the rain do? The very heavy rain, it can produce flooding. So
Yes.
flooding is the problem. So similarly, these Upadana Rupa coming from the outside, they come and go, they disappear, but they disappear after suffering us, disturbing us, like the flood. Can you understand that now?
Yes, yes.
Now you understand because it's not just coming and going. So
Yeah, there is a
example
consequence.
given by Buddha.
Yeah, there is a consequence because of the flood.
So there is a consequence. Yeah, that's right. The flooding. The consequences for us is sorrowfulness. Unpleasant situation, the anger. So anything can happen. Kama, tanna, rati, raga, lobha, desa. But all are coming through this rupa. The way you treat them. If you treat them harshly, here comes the Kama tanna rati raga lobha desa moha maccharya krodha vaya. Kamacchanda vyapada thinamidda uddhacha kukuccha vichikitsa. All are coming with these tiny little things. Sankitta.
Santita.
They
Santita.
stay as Sankitta. That
Santita.
Sankitta. I have written there Sankitta. But
Okay.
yeah, we can come back to that later. But it's not given
Mm.
here. It comes when it comes to the Four Noble Truths. Anyway,
Yeah, okay.
now Rupa Vedana.
Yeah, there is a question, yeah, from earlier, and it says, yeah, because the Vedana, and you just, yeah, you don't like to use the word feeling because we add something into it, and you don't like to use the word feeling. You said something like yeah. So what's the word? Yeah,
Upadana,
emotional.
which
Oh,
one?
emotional.
Which one? Which word you want to elaborate?
Elaborate. In Upadana, Upadana,
Upadana is
Vedana, Vedana.
Upadana Vedana, yeah. It's a Upadana means it's rising, that sentimental,
Sentimental. Okay.
emotion and emotional feelings are, it's rising due to Upadana Rupa. That's what Buddha says. So
Okay.
it's also the Upadana is, it's a adjective to say that it is producing in our system. That is what it means.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
It's
So
arising in our system. So
sentimental. Yeah. Okay.
everywhere, if you say a term upadana in any sutra of Buddha anywhere, upadana means is arising inside. Upadana.
Yeah. 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 Sentimental. Yeah. I got it. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. And also, Ellie
Yeah, in
is
this
there.
particular case, Vedana is the emotional sentiment, but
Yeah. Sentiment.
Upadana is arising everywhere. Rupa arising
Yeah.
Rupa. That is
Right.
Upadana Rupa. Arising Vedana. That is Upadana Vedana. Upadana
Upadana.
Sanya.
Vedana.
Arising Sanya. Upadana Sankara, rising Sankara. Okay? So
Yeah.
Upadana Vijnana, rising Vijnana. So rising is the term for Upadana.
Yes. Yes.
So don't get mixed up. It has got one meaning. Upadana means rising or,
Arising.
or
Born.
producing.
Yeah.
Producing or arising. Both are right.
Uh,
Producing
yeah.
or arising. So it has to produce to arise. It can't just prop up. So it has to produce to come up. So it's producing or rising.
Yeah.
But the best term is producing. The why I said producing is the best term rather than rising, because
Mm.
producing is something bad, rising is something good.
Yeah. Yes.
If I get calmness arise. We don't say calmness produced. No, we can't.
Producing. Okay.
It doesn't
I
suit
see.
very well. Yeah. So the best term is, I think, the best term is producing. Here, these
Yeah.
are all bad ones. If you
Yeah.
get a good
It's
one, just say
yeah.
arising. Nibbana attaining, Nibbana arising the knowledge, arising the strength. So those are good ones. So use the good ones,
Okay.
rising, bad ones, development. Organizations are developing. Organizations are producing. So you can say producing is also bad. If something is produced is bad, if something is arising is good. You got the difference? Yeah. Stick to
Yeah, and it
producing.
just mean
Yeah.
that yeah, it just mean that yeah, upadana it means yeah, producing or arising. If you would
Produce.
like to describe something good, you
Yes.
use the arising something such as arising nirvana, and if
The good ones are
something
rising. Yeah. Bad ones are producing.
yeah produce yeah. Thank
Produce
you.
bad ones. Arising is good ones. I'll write it here. So it's okay. So
Yeah.
it's arising good.
Mm.
Arising good.
Yeah.
Producing
Bad.
bad things. Bad means hurtful things.
Yes. Thank you so much.
That's all right. So I
Yeah,
want
we
you to
know.
go along that
Produce harmful, hurtful things. Yes.
Yeah. So producing is good ones. Sorry, bad ones. The
Yeah.
arising is good ones. Yeah, yeah. I have
Yeah.
read
Yeah.
before, so you won't mix
Yeah.
up. So don't say arising here. Just say producing these bad ones. So
Mm,
producing is upadana is producing. Upadana is producing. The term upadana, you can say it's producing rupa. Upadana, so producing
mm.
rupa. So they are produced rupa. They are not the normal actual rupa because they are producing within yourself because they tend to bring us suffering. So produced rupa bringing to give us emotional sentiment. That's right. It
Mm.
produces. So it's, if I say upadana vedana, that means produced emotional sentiment. Now it's clear, I think. Yeah, we can concentrate on that. So sanya, the next one. Sanya is perfection. What do you, how you look at them, identify them, the way you identify. So upadana sanya. Upadana sanya is developing some sort of way to identify or perceive. So it's a development again. Sanya is developed. Now we'll go back to that. So Buddha says froth is the upadana rupa is the froth. Vedana is what? Vedana is the bubbles of that froth.
So what's the difference? I think they're the same.
No,
Frozen bubble.
bubbles are in the froth. So if you look at
Oh,
the froth, froth
I
is made
see.
out of bubbles. Froth is made out of bubbles. Froth, if you look at the froth, it contains bubbles. When the
Okay.
bubbles disappear, froth also gradually disappears.
Okay.
So there's a difference. These are the
Oh,
Buddha's terms. So penapindupama. So that means froth. Bubulupama means the bubbles of that froth. When the bubbles disappear, then the froth disappears.
yes.
Both are what? Fake. Fake. They don't last long. They don't last long.
Fictitious. Yeah.
It's
Fake.
precious. Yeah. So they are because we develop in our mind about that house, a rupa upadana. We develop a rupa about that house, developing a rupa, upadana rupa, about that
Aruba.
house. Yeah, upadana rupa is development of the rupa inside the mind,
Yeah,
about that
Ruba
house,
inside the
about
mind.
that
Yes.
person. Yeah, that's right. About that person, and so on and so forth. So various things. Then system develops sanya or vedana, the next one. Rupa vedana is a sentimental emotion or emotional sentiment. That's also developed.
Mm.
Don't forget that is developed.
Yeah, yeah.
Rupa vedana. Sanya, then you are going to identify. So there is a development of the way to identify that inside. That is
Oh,
called
identify.
sanya. But it says Buddha. Now here, I had explained this one a little bit. I may not go any far. I think it's better to explain these three once again before we finish. So the third one is identification. Now, what are you going to identify? You're going to identify a fake thing. That right? Rupa, Upadana Rupa is a fictitious, fake Rupa, which we have developed in the mind. Okay?
Mm.
You
Yeah.
start from the beginning. Who did this? The outside. So Buddha says outside items
Item.
in the outside world, they are not the problem. They are not the troublemakers. They are not the troublemakers. Don't say, the troublemakers are outside people or outside
No,
animals. No, some people used to say that these outside things are, giving trouble to me.
no, no,
That
no.
is wrong. That is wrong interpretation according to Buddha. Right.
Yes.
So people blame the
Wrong, wrong.
outside. They are doing this, that. They are behaving in that manner. We can't help. What is the problem? We produce or develop upadana rupa by looking at them, hearing them, touching them, this, that. The tasting, all these things are their six senses. Through six senses, we develop upadana rupa. Who are troubling us? Upadana rupa. Buddha says upadana
Yeah, Upadana
rupa
Upa.
are the troublemakers, not the outside world, please.
Mm.
These Buddha's
So,
words. Don't
yeah,
blame the
so,
outside world. Blame yourself if you are suffering. That's what.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
So, Doctor, may I ask you a question here?
Mm.
So why different people have different Upadana Upa?
It's not the physical one we are looking at because people look at things differently.
So
Why,
why
why,
people?
why, why the reason is the karma is, varying. The likings and dislikings are varying. Tanha is varying.
Very. Oh, yes, very.
Okay, why
Not
it
not.
is happening? Why it is happening? Your question to be answered properly. Now, see, people have practiced these things in their previous lives and this life.
Oh,
So
yes,
that
yes.
particular practice is to do with how they look at things.
Yeah.
Now,
Thank
why
you so
we
much.
are, why
That's
we,
good.
why we are talking about this Buddha's teachings? There may be a reason behind that in the past lives.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It
And
it
because
can't
yeah,
just
we
happen.
teach.
It just can't happen for the sake of happening. It can't happen like that.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you
Then,
so
then
much.
the entire world should come and sit with us to listen to this. They are not because
Yeah,
their way of thinking is different. So only now see, look at this. When Buddha enlightened, Buddha went to 5 people only to preach the first Dhammacakkapavartana Sutra. Only 5 people were listening. Out of
yes.
5, only one attained the Nibbana then and there after the
Yeah,
discourse. Other 4 took a little while to attain the Nibbana. So later, a lot of people joined with Buddha, so little by little. So therefore, it is to do with the habitual practices that we have brought in from
yes,
this
yes, yes.
life and the past
Habitual
life.
practices.
The
Yes.
practices are to be considered. So that is why people are looking things differently. That's why Buddha said people look things differently. So no use blaming them. Some people are, you know, everybody is different. Some people are helpless. So we have to forgive them. No point, attacking them. We have to forgive them and forget. Forgive and forget.
Yeah.
Forgive and forget.
Yes,
Because
yes.
then only we can safeguard ourselves. If you forget, we can safeguard ourselves. You forgive, and then if you think on that, then that will come towards us. So we develop bad thoughts, bad actions. So development is bad. So these are, tiny little things, but important to live the life peacefully. You got it?
Yeah.
So that's called the Penapindupama. That is the Rupa, Upadana Rupa is Penapindupama, is a froth, like a froth, but it disappears. Now the question is, Buddha asked this question from Buddha himself. Ask this question and put these terms. So Penapindupama is first one. Bubulupama is, the bubbles of the froth. Look at the
Mm.
third one Buddha gave. Marichi Kupama. What is that? Buddha says Sanya is Marichi Kupama. Is in the third line of this explanation. Marichi Kupama. What it says is, when you go to the beach, if you look at the sea, you can see a line, a mirage. Mirage. What's a mirage? If you look
Yeah,
at,
mirage.
yeah,
Yeah,
you can see a line between the sky and the water, but it's a
yeah.
mirage. There is no such thing.
Just like a building.
Yeah,
It's
it's
such
like
a
a
big.
like a line, going from that corner to this corner.
Oh, like a line.
It's like divided the sky and the water divided by a line. That's a
Yeah.
mirage. But
Yes,
Buddha said
mirage.
that mirage, or sometimes when you see when you go, long distances, you can see the water on the road, but there's no water. It's a
Yeah,
mirage.
yeah. Well, yeah, it always happen.
Yeah,
Especially I on the car. Yeah,
yeah,
in the
yeah.
car we can see some water on the road.
That's a mirage. It happens with the sunlight and there's a chemical reaction happening. I can't remember.
Oh, I see. Thank you.
Hmm? Deserts. Desert is also called mirage. According to this.
Thank you, thank you.
So it's my wife says, the desert is like a water pool, but there's no actually. Yeah, there's no actually water. It's like a water pool. It's a mirage. So Buddha gave the example as sanya, that's identification as mirage. But
Oh,
the term Buddha
mirage.
used is the meaning is mirage, but the Buddha gave Marichi Kupama. It's in the list, in that the other document. Marichi Kupama. You can see that. Can you go to that uh, six? Not this one. This is Mahamangala
Uh,
Sutta.
yeah, I made a mistake. Okay. Here
This,
it is, right?
yeah, that's the one. Thank you. So that's Sanya. Yeah, that's a. So Marichi Kupama is in Mahagadhi's Marichi Kupama is the mirage. So starting with M, mirage. Marichi Kupama. Now Buddha asking a question here. Good question. The question
Mm,
is, I have not written here. Buddha is asking, if you have got, if you have developed a fictitious rupa in your mind,
mm,
and you have got a fake rupa in your mind, and Vedana is, sentimental, but it is like a bubble in the froth which disappears in no time.
mm,
What is the big idea of identifying that or recognizing that? Because you are recognizing something not in the it's not actual, it's a fake. Why you are going to identify a fake? That is why Buddha gave Marichikupama. It's like a mirage. It's like you are trying to identify what a mirage is. You get nowhere. That's what Buddha says. I don't know whether
mm.
you, I don't know whether you understood that. So we are going
Yes, yes.
we are going from dark to dark, Buddha says. You're going from dark to dark because
What a thing.
it's it's a fake thing giving disappearing things which is not existing. So we are trying to figure out something by putting every effort to identify that which is fake. So what's the big idea of identifying a fake thing? Buddha is questioning here. So Buddha says, stop here. Don't go any more. So if you go to the Sankara and Vijnana, you are in trouble. That's what Buddha says. Rupa, Vedana, Sanya is enough. Don't go any further. Can you understand that now?
Yes.
Because if you go to Sankara, the entire body parts are going to vibrate and squeezing and compression. Everything could happen.
Yeah, you highlighted before
Yeah,
because
that's right. So
this
that's
is
the
the
good.
turning point.
Yeah. So it says, go to Rupa, go to Upadana Rupa, go to Upadana Vedana, Upadana Sanya, all right. Buddha says, don't go beyond that. Because
Mm.
you have identified something not existing. That's the term. It's not existing, it's a fake. Rupa, Upadana Rupa is fake. The Sanya or the sentimental feeling, or that emotion is a fake again, because fake things give fake. Then you are trying to identify a fake thing by sanya. No use. You get nowhere. So,
Yes,
but
yeah.
you get somewhere, but your system get disturbed and you get bad feelings.
Yes,
Sankara
yes.
vijnana. So now see how Buddha explained that. So that is how the dukkha comes, or the suffering comes. In the first, so it,
Dukkha.
dukkha,
Dukkha.
yeah, that's
Dukkha.
the first noble truth.
Ah, 苦集灭的 suffering, right?
Yeah. So it's all these things are bringing us suffering because we develop things. It's not arising, it's developing. Don't develop
Yeah.
things inside with the fake ones.
Producing.
Yeah,
Prepare.
producing. Yeah, exactly. You're spot on. Very good. Well done. So it's producing, developing. Don't develop, don't produce. Let arise the calmness. Let arise the peacefulness. Let arise the nibbana. The full, complete calmness. Nibbana means total calmness, serenity, tranquility, upekha. Let develop the upekha. Happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay, if you're happy with that, we'll stop there if you don't mind. So tomorrow we'll go back to this again and we look at the other two, also
Yeah.
Sankara and Vijnana. Then we have to go that over and over again, and we bring the other things into the picture so that to consolidate Kama, Tanha, Rati, Raga, then the five hindrances. Kamachan,
To the
Vyapada,
future.
yeah.
To this future is
Hmm?
Mangala. Mangala future.
Yeah,
Maha
we'll
Mangala
come to
future.
that later because if you want to go to Mangala Sutra after that, after Sankara and Vijnana, I can go to that. Yes, of course, I have written the entire sutra now, so I can send that with all. Uh, yeah, it's not a bad thing. Yeah, you can go to Mahamangala Sutra because that clears everything. Why we should go along this path. Yeah, true. I agree.
Yeah, very interesting. Today I do some preview. I think it's very interesting, and
Mhm.
thank you so much, Doctor, because you're skillful, right?
Yeah,
Because
that's good
you
to get
put
the
the terms into the future, and so make everything clear. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for your appreciation.
And before ending tonight's
Mhm.
lecture, I'd like to do the prayer on behalf of our members, everybody here, and blessed by the Buddha's wonderful teachings, blessed by the mental Bani Spirit's instruction, blessed by two doctors' compassionate leading and inspiring. May our Dr. Bodhi will recover soon. May all beings have the intention to achieve Bodhi and quickly realize the unsurpassed enlightenment. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the wishes. I really admire that. Thanks for listening. All the best. Good night. Take care.
Good night. Take care. Good night.
Take care. Good night.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, that's right.